Nikola Tesla is one of history's most curious figures. He spoke 8 languages, could memorize complete books, and was able to casually perform integral calculus in his head. He had multiple groundbreaking inventions, including the electric motor, radio, X-ray, and remote control, but he didn't receive credit for many of them. Tesla was ahead of his time, an absolute genius, but he never quite achieved success. Later in life, he moved from one hotel to another, leaving behind unpaid bills and eventually growing a bizarre fascination for pigeons, who were his only companions up until his death in 1943. Most of his inventions became obscure until the 90s, when popular interest in his life and work was resurrected. Now, you could propose many reasons for Tesla's lack of success, despite his incredible potential. However, one of the biggest downfalls is arguably his lack of social savviness. To possess amazing skill, knowledge, or talent without the ability to create alliances with others who recognize your potential is equivalent to being the greatest painter in a world that is governed by the blind. Whatever your definition of success may be, it is very hard to reach the top alone. Nobody cares how talented you are if you don't convey your potential to others and build relationships to work towards a common goal. So how do you create constructive and meaningful relationships? Simple, through conversation. The more you talk to someone, the more likely you are to discover things you have in common and whether or not you can create a symbiotic relationship with that person. So here are some of the most powerful tools you can apply in your next interaction. Whenever you meet someone, don't smile at them immediately. Although this seems counterintuitive, it is much more powerful to take a moment to observe the other person's face, to soak in their persona, and then slowly bring a smile on your face. This will communicate that your smile is genuine and only for them. By the way, to make it even more sincere, make sure you engage the muscles around your eyes to achieve what is called a Duchenne smile. By treating your smile like a precious resource, you will make people feel special when you offer it to them. Now, even before opening your mouth, take a sample of the other person's behavior to detect their mood. Are they energetic, bored, cheerful, or tired? Once you determine their mood, try to match it as closely as you can by mimicking their body language and their tone of voice. This establishes rapport and will then allow you to steer the conversation how you please. Remember, once you match someone's mental state, they are more likely to follow your lead. Notice how whenever you meet someone, certain questions always seem to come up. What do you do? Where are you from? What do you study? What are your hobbies? Etc., etc. By anticipating these questions, you have the opportunity to prepare rich answers that facilitate the conversation. For example, if someone asks where you are from, instead of simply saying something like Montreal, you could reply with, I'm from the land of poutine, maple syrup, and unforgiving winters. In other words, Montreal. This allows your listener to ask several follow-up questions, and it also communicates that you are engaged in the conversation. Speaking of common questions, avoid asking people what they do for a living, as this can make some individuals feel uneasy. They might get the impression that you are sizing them up and are about to judge them if they don't have an impressive answer. Instead, ask this: how do you spend most of your time? This question provides plenty of leeway for an answer they are comfortable giving. It is also a much better way to get to know someone and find out what they are passionate about. Remember, a person is more than their job title, and asking them what they do is not the best way to discover who they are. Now, whenever the other person is talking, especially after you ask an open-ended question like how do you spend most of your time, it is a good idea to listen and act like a detective by looking for conversational ribbons. What do I mean by that? For example, if someone tells me that they spend most of their time studying and rock climbing, I automatically visualize 2 ribbons above their head labeled study and rock climb. Whenever I feel that our conversation reaches a dead end, I can always pull on one of those ribbons and say, I'm curious, what got you into climbing? Or how do you feel about your field of study? We usually get so caught up in what we are going to say when it will be our turn to speak that we fail to adequately listen when the other person is talking. Develop a genuine curiosity for people. When meeting someone, you will learn so much more if you turn the spotlight on them and their lives as opposed to fishing for their attention. Confident individuals know that they grow more by listening than by talking. A huge part of being a great conversationalist is developing the ability to show interest in people and have them talk about themselves. What's great about this is that if you get your interlocutor to passionately talk about their interest, they will form a positive impression of you even though you barely said anything. A great example is that whenever someone mentions an activity they enjoy doing, such as running, playing the violin, or ballroom dancing, you can ask them these 2 things. 1, what initially got you into that activity? Or 2, what is it about that activity that appeals to you? Remember, keep the spotlight on them and they will love you for it. Last but not least, people with rich vocabularies are perceived as more creative and more intelligent. They also get hired quicker, promoted faster, and are listened to more. The reality is that you don't need to memorize the dictionary to achieve this. It turns out that only 50 words make the difference between a rich, creative vocabulary and an average one. Instead of cute, use endearing. Instead of great, use glorious or magnificent. Smart and intelligent can be replaced with brilliant or resourceful. Next time you want to compliment a girl, call her radiant instead of beautiful. See what happens. Find a couple of synonyms for the words you use on a daily basis and try them out. We hope you enjoyed this animation. If you feel like you've learned something, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on other great content. Give us your feedback in the comment section below and let us know if you'd like us to cover a specific topic in a future animation. For now, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for your curiosity.